Thank you very much, Diana. A very, very moving speech. Continuing with the trend of the Hart Foundation and the Hart family, our next inductee will be Jim the Anvil Neidhart. I'm glad he's up here. This will curtail my spiel a little bit. Because I think you'd like to know, please, stay right here, Jim. I just want to give you a brief synopsis of Jim's career because he's earned everything he has. I don't know if you knew or not, but Jim was an NFL football player. He was with the Dallas Cowboys for a period of time. But of course, nothing lasts forever. So he decided that, when the Cowboys released him, he was going to embark on a new venture, and that venture was wrestling. And where is the first place he went to? It was Canada. It was Calgary. It was the Stampede. It was the Dungeon. Jim made his mark. And during that time frame, he met, fell in love with, and married Ellie Hart, and became a member of the Hart family. But now, things really started going for Jim. He started blossoming. Jim had a very interesting career pre-WWF. He worked in a lot of places. Of course, Calgary was one. He also worked in Georgia. He worked along the Gulf Coast. He worked in Memphis. Chances are, Jim Neidhart was one individual who had many suitcase stamps through his travels. But then again, in 1984, 1985, here came Jim Neidhart to New York. Here came Jim Neidhart to the WWF. And things started out okay. He made his debut at Madison Square Garden on January 21st, and he defeated Tony Gurria. So that was a good start. And then he actually had a match with Brett, if I remember correctly. Brett was a cowboy, and that was a failure, as we all learned. But then things started to go very good for Jim. Mr. Fuji was his first manager. His storyline was that the contract was sold to Jimmy Hart. That was the beginning of a very long run. Jim's first exposure to WrestleMania came in 1986 when he was a part of the Battle Royal with the NFL players. And of course, it was a very interesting time for Jim. But then, things started happening. The Hart Foundation started getting together. Brett and Jim were a formidable tag team. How could you not hate the innocuous laugh that Jim had? How can you not hate the sunglasses and everything that Jim personified? Well, you did hate it for a while, but then you loved it. And tonight, Jim Neidhart, who has had his travels up and down the pipe, and who I might add, I would suggest, is a proud father of a current WWE diva, Anvil. I'm going to now turn the podium over to this gentleman who I've known for quite some time. He's a wonderful human being, and it's tonight my honor to induct Jim the Anvil Neidhart into the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, class of 2014.
Talk about Davey Boy, gets me all psyched up. There weren't too many people around like Davey Boy and Dynamite. They had this fast English style. And I remember the very first night Davey Boy walked into the kitchen there where Dinah and we were having dinner. And as Davey Boy walked into the very first time in Stu Hart's house, Dinah was like this. Daddy, I love it. Anyway, it was really, he had to be a real Kodak moment. But that old Davey Boy, I'll tell you, when he had his match in front of 80,000 people at Wembley Stadium, really, really hurting and had a huge staph infection going through his body. And like I was nursing the health there for about a week, and he barely got on the plane. I couldn't believe he actually went through with that match and really in front of all those people. Couldn't let him down, of course. But that says something about an athlete when you can go and perform at a high level when you're hurt and fucked up, you know, with medicine and infection and stuff like that. Didn't bother me any, but went there and did it. And that's what I like about a lot of the great athletes that I've been around, 3 different professional sports. All the real heavyweights, anybody that's any good goes to go to the top form, whatever pain they got, and get the job done. Mr. Harley Race performed. I know he was really sick and hurt during a couple of gigs. You think that would bother Harley? No. That's what you really measure. You really judge a champion. Mr. Mancini and Mr. Rivera, these guys here are so important to our business in what they did as far as helping programming, TV go along with PFC and everywhere we went. What they did and performed as a job is so important. Nobody does this wrestling thing by themselves. Nobody does it because of champion by themselves. You know, it takes 2 to tango. And I know Mr. Rivera and Mancini more than one time made me look very good and Brett too. And on TV and for the whole damn world, and that kind of shit that helped us so much, but it's so important to our business that nobody can be good without guys like this. So, Diana, it was such a good speech you about Game Boy. Wow. I was wrestling with Harry Smith, Diana's son, and Harry's about 6'4", good-looking guy, you know, moves really good. And I was like, oh my God, it's like wrestling with Game Boy out here. Identical. The timing, this and that, up, down, right, that's super special. It's like, no, money, you know. It was so much like Baby Boy that, oh yeah, I can probably really understand that. And maybe Brett a little bit too. But, very interesting. Anyway, I can't wait to hear what Harley has to say here. You know, I know the Dynamite Kid, Davey Boy, they love this guy. And Harley has been through so much, and so much pain and championships and world champions, ups and downs. You never hear Harley complain about anything. But it's a tremendous being inducted in this Hall of Fame with the likes of Harley Race and Warwick. Anytime anything good happens to me with your office, Howard is there to announce it and tell everybody, and year after year, decade after decade, it's still going on. Howard, thank you so much.